morning, everyone. This is Paula Hunter Borthwick at Celestial Treasures, and I found the need today to put together a little video regarding essential oils. Um, as some of you know, I've been working on my aromatherapy certification. I've actually put in for my exam, and I'm hoping to be writing it by the end of the month. And one of the things that I've learned from taking this course is there's a lot more to it than what I thought. I used to think essential oils just smelled nice, they help to, go through your house, get rid of unpleasant scents and things like that. And the more I got into this course, the more I understand there's so much more to it. That being said, nowadays with the computer, Facebook, all these other electronic means, there's so much information out there. And what I'm seeing and what I'm finding is not all the information out there is good information. There's a surprise with that. But to me, it's really, really important to help provide some good information. Those of you that know with the store, my job isn't just trying to, if you will, read for you, help you with something, but a big part of this is education. And with that, you can learn about something, you can move forward and help other people as well. Now, I live in a very small community, and one of the things that I found, and not just here, it's all over the place, essential oils are becoming very popular. There's so many people that are looking for more holistic ways of healing, getting away from the chemicals and the pharmaceuticals, and trying to find different methods of healing, which I think is absolutely wonderful. You can get on the computer, you can search for recipes, and you can find all manner of things. And again, that's great. You can try some things out at home. You can use it for yourself, your family, see how it works. It's wonderful. One of the issues that I have is all of a sudden there's all these little things popping up where everybody's selling their own products. And while, again, this is great, I'm a small business owner, and I know it can be a challenge, but what I'm finding is some of the things that are going on is just really not effective, and it bothers me because they do have the potential to harm, right? You can hurt someone if you don't know what you're doing. As an example, this is an essential oil that my husband bought. Actually, it's a blend that my husband bought over the summer from a flea market. It's a bug spray, basically. But if you notice on it, there's absolutely no labels, no identifying marks, doesn't tell you what's in it, doesn't tell you what it's for. And to me, that is not very helpful at all. Okay. So someone's made this up, they're selling it, and you may have someone say, hey, is this good for my kids? Is this okay for my pets? And they may just go, yeah. And the fact is, it may not be. And that's where I have issues. And I'm not trying to single out names. I'm not trying to do anything like that. But I think it's really important that we begin to educate the people that are using these products as well. Okay. So there's a couple things that I want to talk about a little bit and just to discuss. And again, this is my opinion. This is also from, let me grab my stuff here. I've been training. So as a almost aromatherapist, this is based on what I have been taught taking this course. So one of the things that I guess made me want to do this today is I came across a video this morning, and it was someone who works for an MLM company selling essential oils. Again, great, no judgment. But what I'm finding is there's so many people that are joining up with these companies, and they're selling it and they're promoting it, and they don't really know the safe use. The things that jumped out at me with this person is one of the things that they said was all natural and they won't hurt anybody. And as much as, yes, they are natural, they do have the potential to harm if you don't know how to use them accordingly, okay? And what I mean by that, it can come down to the amount of essential oils that are being used. It can come down to how they're being used, whether it's directly on the skin or whether it's being used through a carrier oil, the frequency, how often we're using it, the duration, how long are we using it for. These can all impact and can have a negative effect on the body depending on how we're using them. Another thing that I've seen off and on through the internet, and you've probably seen it as well, is 1 drop of essential oil in a glass of water. And this is how you can consume it. First thing with this is taking this aromatherapy program. One of the things that we are taught is we are never to denote or say, hey, take this essential oils internally. So anyone who is a certified aromatherapist will never, ever, ever recommend that you ingest an essential oil. No ands, ifs, or buts. What we're taught is that with the assistance of a medical doctor, for instance, in France, there are medical doctors that are trained with aromatherapy, and they would use those oils from an internal perspective to treat their patients. But they have been trained for that. So often you see that, just add a drop into a glass of water. Well, water and oil, I don't know about anyone else's chemistry, but the two do not mix. So when we have that drop of essential oil or 2 drops in that water we're drinking down, it actually is going into our mouth. So it's getting absorbed through here. And this can actually cause issues. It's getting absorbed before it even makes it to the digestive system. And this is where sometimes they'll say to put it into a capsule, a gel cap, things like that, which now you know why. But they should never be taken in that manner because they can cause a lot of issues, sores, diseases in your mouth. So first and foremost, be very, very aware of that if someone's telling you to ingest these, okay? Just a few different things. So that's another thing that's been bugging me at times. This individual this morning was talking about, again, an MLM brand company, and they were talking about this face serum. And in this face serum, it was a 10 millimeter roller ball, and it was 3 different essential oils in it. And the essential oils were frankincense, lavender, and lemon. Again, not a problem. Now, the person who was saying how to blend it, they said, oh, you just take this 10 milliliter of oil, and in this case, they were using grapeseed oil, and they said add 10 drops of each of these essential oils to it. Now, one of the things that we're taught in aromatherapy is you have percentages of oils that you should use, okay? So, for instance, 20 drops equals 1 milliliter of essential oil. So, as an example, when we're using essential oils on our face, you should never use a percentage over 1.5%, 2% at the most. But it's usually between 0.2% and 1.5%. Now, this individual, when they said 30 drops, that is actually a 15% dilution on the face, when 1.5% is the maximum. Okay, so here's an example of someone who is selling an oil, but they do not have the background. So maybe they're being taught this and says, hey, this is what you tell your customers, this is the way it should be used. But how they're actually using it and the concentrations they're using is not correct. The other thing with this blend in particular is that one of those oils was lemon oil. And they had said that you can use a serum, 10 to 12 times a day whenever you think about it. One of the things about lemon essential oil is it is what is considered phototoxic. So what that means is when you use it and you go out in the sun, it can actually change the pigment of your skin. Okay, so when we're looking at something that's been created for our skin, somebody's saying using it 10 to 12 times, going out in that sun at such a high concentration, there is an opportunity for you to actually have issues with your skin or change the pigment in your skin as a result of that. So I'm not saying it's automatically going to happen. But when we go back to looking at what we call the toxicity, where we look at the amount of oils being used, we look at the frequency and the duration. So if we're using these 10 to 12 times a day, every day, for a long period of time, this can actually cause issues with our skin. And this is just one example. And this is what I guess drives me crazy a little bit. And to me, there's so many people that are selling now. There's so many people that are saying things. But when I'm seeing things like this going out, and when I'm seeing people that aren't educated, someone else had a baby and they were asking about a blend. Is it safe for my child? Oh, yeah. Well, this person you're working with, I mean, again, these oils can be detrimental in some cases. When someone's saying, oh, they're safe for everyone, again, there are rules that you need to look at. There's information you need to look at that is really, really, really important, right? It takes an oil from 20 minutes to 2 hours to absorb into your body. And whether you're taking it internally, I mean, that again, no. But when you put it topically on your skin, because those molecules are so small, it absorbs in through your skin, and it actually goes into your bloodstream, okay? And it gets delivered through the circulatory system in the body, those oils going to where they need to go. So really, there's no justification for having to take it internally anyway. If you really need that lemon, put a slice of fresh lemon in your water, right? Your citric blends, I mean, are usually ones, and sometimes I think peppermint is another one, but you're better off just using a natural fruit and getting, you know, your vitamins from that perspective, okay? This is the stuff that drives me crazy, right? When they're saying 100% therapeutic grade, this, in truth, does not exist. There is no such thing as 100% therapeutic grade essential oils. There's no government agency or anything that accepts these grades, okay? So it's a term that's being used so frequently, but it really doesn't mean anything, okay? I'll have people and customers come in the store and they'll say, well, is this a therapeutic grade? And I'll say, yes, it is. And that's just because of the fact that that is a term that people understand, even though the truth of it is there is no such thing, okay? When you're purchasing an oil or you're looking at getting a blend from somebody, find out about the person. Are they qualified, if you will? I'm not saying that anyone can't go and make a recipe, but if you are selling it to the general public, it is extremely important that you have a bit of knowledge on the safe use of things, okay? So as an example, I'll show you what I do. As I said, I'm taking my course, so I bring in larger quantities of oils, and then I'll break it down into smaller bottles, and that is just from cost effective. It allows me to keep my oils much more affordable. So like one of the things that I do, this is an example, this is what I call a costing sheet. And this is something that I create. So in this case, this is regarding a feeds blend that I make and I sell here. So what it shows me is all of the oils that are in the blend. It shows me how many drops are in it. It gives me a cost analysis, things like that. But when people are asking about therapeutic grades, is my oil better than somebody else? Again, it comes down to their testing and things. One of the things and reasons why I use the company that I do use is for each essential oil that I get, let's try it maybe from this side, each one has what's known as a lot number, right, and a batch number. So any of these oils, I can go back and I can actually get these certificate of analysis. So this shows me that that oil has been tested and it meets the requirements of what that blend should be. Nowadays too, with Amazon and other things, there's a lot of unadulterated oils out there. So you do not know the purity. And this is one reason I think why that 100% started getting so important. So whoever you're getting your oils from, they should be able to provide you with information on analysis on any of the oils. So this is what I do. When I do any of my blends now, I make sure that I know where all of those oils are coming from, what batch, how long they're good for, because that's another thing. There are best before dates. And that's one of the things that they have. As an example of this, I have cinnamon bark from Madagascar, and this one says it's best before April 2019. So it doesn't mean it's no good after that time frame, but if I'm selling to the general public, if I'm making something, I'm not going to try and sell them old oils. So for me, I'd want to make sure my oil is used up before that time, knowing that it's going to be the best before time frames. So we have certain oils, whether it's a carrier oil or essential oil, that they do actually have a bit of a, I don't say a shelf life, but best before dates. Any of your citrus ones have a very short shelf lifespan, so it's important that they get used fairly quickly. What else can I tell you? There's a couple other things I was thinking about. One of the other things that I've been learning when I come back to this example here, there is requirements from the Government of Canada, Health Canada, that says requirements on labels. Okay. This is something I've been doing a lot of research on. I'm still new to it. I'm trying to learn about it. But again, I see these things going out there that just have a label. Okay. Your label should have what it is. It needs to be in French and English. It has to have weights. One of the things I've got on the back here too that I've started doing, I don't know how well you can see these, just as an example. It needs to have your directions. It needs to have any sort of cautionary information. Your ingredients, this has to be in French and English. Best before dates, it has to have the company name, address, and a way to connect back. This is another way where you can look to see about the products that you're purchasing off someone, and are they meeting the governmental requirements on what they need to do, because these recipes actually get, you have to send them to the government to get them approved. There's something called the INCI database, and even our ingredients have to be put in a certain way, from the highest concentration to the lowest concentration. They have to be using the proper names for the oil. So instead of lavender, it has to be Lavandula augustifolia. And you can have lavender in brackets, but it has to be by the INCI database name. Okay, and this is why they want to keep track. They want to make sure that if a consumer is buying a product, they want to make sure that the ingredients in the product are safe, our concentrations are safe, proper use for it. And going back from here, just to give you an idea, here is labeling of cosmetics, and this is on the Health Canada website, which tells you how to label appropriately and what you should be doing. There's another one that is referred to as the guidelines for cosmetic advertising and labeling claims. So even when you're creating these things, for instance, I had my headache relief blend. I now have to change that name because it's implying that that product is going to fix your headache. It's going to be gone. And you're not allowed to use claims like that without, if you will, documented evidence that it works. So here now I have to set up some sort of a project that says, here's, say 100 people that have tried it, and here's the percentages of how it worked. There's a whole other thing. Plus you have to pay for all that. So it's really important that we think about how we're actually, what we're calling our products and how we're putting things out. Like, as an example, this is one that talks about hair. And to say it controls dandruff, it's unacceptable. You cannot use that term. You can say that it removes loose dandruff flakes from the hair, but you can't say it controls or eliminates things like that. You can't even use the term dandruff shampoo. So it's really, really important how we're thinking about what we're using. And as I said, it's been really starting to bother me when I'm seeing all these things and products that people are selling to other people with the potential of harming. And again, it may be small percentage, but if you're selling a product that doesn't have a label on it even, or what those ingredients are, if someone has, as an example, a severe nut allergy and there's almond oil in it, this can be, tragic for the individual, right? There is toxicity in them depending on how we're using them. So it's important that we understand that certain oils may be reactive to you. So as someone who's created a blend and I'm selling it to someone, I haven't said, how do you deal with it if they have an adverse reaction to it or they have a contradiction to it? It's important that people who are making the products for sale, that you have an understanding of this, because otherwise there is potential to hurt somebody. Okay, and this may be me getting on my soapbox. I don't want to necessarily say it that way, but yes, it has an impact, and I'm working really hard to get the training that I need in order to be a qualified aromatherapist, moving towards my naturopath so I can help people. I want to be able to create custom blends for an individual based on their requirements. And I've put a lot of work into my studies in order to do so. And I find it really frustrating when someone finds a recipe or all of a sudden becomes they're all of a sudden doing the MLM where they're supporting and selling products when they don't have the basis in the background. Okay, again, my rant, my thing, but I'm very anal in some cases about wanting to do things right. That's that internal perfectionist, I think, in me. So I just wanted to share some of those things. And you, as a consumer, it's important for you to ask the questions. Is the person an approved aromatherapist? Have they done any training? Do they understand why they're using certain essential oils in a blend or certain carrier oils in a blend? Do they know what they actually do? Or is it just, well, this bottle says this is what it's good for, and I add it to oil and I use it? That's where we can run into problems. And if you do your research on MLMs, you'll start to find information. And I'm not saying they're bad necessarily. I'm not saying that there's not good quality there. But to me, it comes down to the individuals who are still selling it and making sure that you have the knowledge behind what you're selling. I'm not going to go and try and sell a car to someone or an engine to someone when I don't know or I'm not able to explain the process of combustion to somebody. That wouldn't make any sense. If someone's asking me a question specifically about that product, I should be able to answer that question. Okay. Well, I guess I've kind of gone on here a little bit, but this is something that is kind of near and dear to me because I have been working so hard to move forward with this and to create my own products, and especially in a small community, it's important to help educate people. Check out what you're using. Check out where the oils are coming from. And if you're not sure, ask questions. If you don't get the answers that you're looking for, if they don't have the answers, research it, right? You can find out some good information, but make sure you're going to reputable sites for aromatherapy and not just, I don't say someone's blog, and I'm not saying again that they don't have knowledge there. I'm just using that as an example. I mean, I can find recipes all over the place, and what I found from my aromatherapy and looking at these recipes is that it's not always what it appears to be. Okay? That being said, thank you for listening to me. Again, we are here at Celestial Treasures. I'm at 102 Main Street, St. George, and I do sell essential oils. And as soon as I have my aromatherapy, which I'm planning on running my exam on April 2nd for the first half of it, I'll be putting in for my naturopath. And when I have my naturopath, this is going to open a door for my customers and clients, one, to begin to do more services, so my hypnosis, and being able to take clients from aromatherapy perspective and creating specific blends for issues that are going on for you. So it'll come down to the scent of maybe what you like over something else, but also making sure that it's coming from a therapeutic perspective that's going to help you with whatever the issue is, okay? Later on, I plan on doing more naturopathic training because, again, this seems to be a passion for me lately where there's many ways to heal, and I want to learn as much as I can about different healing methods from a natural perspective so I can, in turn, continue to help my clients and my customers, okay? Any questions? Drop in. Ask me. I'll try and educate as much as I can. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have yourselves a wonderful day. Take care.